Hi, we're playing Tempo Doomsday against the famous Sneak and Show player JPA93. We have a hand that can cast a turn 1 Doomsday, which is always nice, even with Dark Ritual or with double pedal, and we have 2 lands and a ponder, so of course it's not perfect because the perfect world would be to have Force of Will or something, but it's very much a keepable hand. So here we play the island, and because we see the volcanic island and we know it's probably Sneak and Show or something, could also be Grixis Delver, but it's something that could have Daze and it could have Force of Will. So we could go for it now. So we could go basic island, pedal, Dark Ritual, and then we would blank Daze. Or we could also use the ponder and try to find a Force of Will. So let's do this. And if we find protection, then we can go for it next turn, or maybe we find something else. So this hand just got better. So we see Flooded Strand, Underground Sea, Force of Will. So we stack it with the fetch land on top in case this becomes relevant. So we can shuffle away the last land and we draw the Force of Will. Problem is now we don't even play in today's, right? We are covered from everything besides double Force or something. So we sack the Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual, Doomsday. And will it resolve? No, opponent forces, pitching Brainstorm. So we're not sure what it is. Okay, and we are forcing back. They have the double force, okay. So this will be difficult, but our opponent also has not much to operate with. So we are both down to really low resources. So let's see. So we are a bit advantaged in the matchup because Doomsday is kind of a 1-card combo and we have counter magic. They also have counter magic, but we also have the 1 Swordseize. And also if they play Sneak and Show, Show and Tell, then we can maybe bring in the Oracle after Doomsday. Okay. Ponder. Yeah, so now we are disadvantaged because the opponent recovered faster. What's the second pitch card? A second Brainstorm. So yeah, having the Brainstorm would have helped. But we just need a Doomsday now, right? The opponent needs the creature and either Sneak Attack or Show and Tell or maybe Omniscience instead of the creature. And we keep a Brainstorm on top. And there shouldn't be a red blast now. Okay, we get rid of Tazza's Oracle and the Underground Sea, and then we can fetch it away. So we got rid of a few bad draws, but still. Right, and we need to look if the opponent shuffled with the Ponder, chooses not to use Ponder's ability. So there's probably 1 combo piece in hand, and let's see what happens. Show and Tell, okay. We bring in the Underground Sea, there's a Grizzlebrand, so this is really hard for us because even if we find Doomsday, we go down to 9 life at least, and then we get hit for 7 with Grizzlebrand, and also Grizzlebrand then can attack another time, and there's an additional Show and Tell, there's an Atraxa. And let's see, there's a Vexing Bob, there's an Omniscience, there's an Emrakul. So this game is over, but I think we played it correctly. So let's see for the sideboarded games. So this is a matchup where I think the creature pivot isn't that great. I mean, we can put in the creatures with Show and Tell, but they probably lose against Emrakul and Grizzlebrand and Atraxa. We don't need our Fatal Pushs. And Consign could be useful, maybe against 1 Sneak Attack activation, I'm not sure. They probably have Consign themselves, so we definitely want the Swordseize. Force of Negation is also really good. Hydroblast is nice because of Sneak Attack, and Pyroblast and Gravedigger's Cage. Unfortunately, it says creature cards in graveyards and libraries cannot enter the battlefield, but with Show and Tell and Sneak Attack they enter from hand, so Gravedigger's Cage doesn't help us much here. And Tamio, on the other hand, I think it's good because if we have a bunch of counter magic, then we can rebuy it with Tamio and it's another win condition. Yeah, I think I this was a mistake that I didn't bring in the blue elemental blast. I brought out only 2 fatal pushes and brought in the force of negation and Thoughtseize. Okay, our hand on the play is Doomsday with Dark Ritual and Daze. So the second time we try to go off with a protected turn 1 Doomsday. Will it be enough this time? And this time it resolves. And this is a bit tricky because we want to have the Thassa's Oracle as early as possible. We cannot prevent the opponent from show and telling next turn, except if Daze is enough, which it probably is, because I need 3 mana, so it would need like Force plus Petal plus Soul Land, Show and Tell, and Fatty. So we probably have 2 turns to work with here. We are scared of the combo, of course, and also consigned to memory. So I think they also don't play discard because it's red-blue. We don't have Emrakul Sheldog Isle here to work with. So I think we want to have 1 or 2 Thassa's Oracles, 1 or 2 Thoughtseizes, and maybe because of the fetch land we can also put a land in the pile. And Cavern of Souls would also be nice because of red elemental blast and Force of Will. So I decide here to take a really slow pile with 1 Thoughtseize and 2 lands for the fetch lands and Cavern of Souls. So next turn we play out fetch land, and we can Thoughtseize, but maybe it's better to Thoughtseize in the last turn. But the thing is, we want to have the Thassa's Oracle in hand when probably not next turn, because we can only fetch us from 4 to 3. So we want to have the Thassa's Oracle in hand the turn after that. So turn 2 we play fetch land, turn 3 we play fetch land, and if the opponent plays Show and Tell, then we can bring in Thassa's Oracle and fetch down to 2 cards in library, which are Thoughtseize and Cavern, depending on how we stack it. No, there's only 1 card in library, because we draw Thoughtseize, Thassa's Oracle, fetch Island, Underground Sea, and then there's Cavern, and they get us with like Red Blast plus something, but it should work. Okay. So we make this pile. I'm interested. I'm not a pile master, so feel free to tell me what you would have done differently. So we stack land, Cavern, Thoughtseize, and Thassa's Oracle on top. I'm not sure if this is best. Probably doesn't matter that much, the order there. But maybe I think if the opponent plays turn 1 sneak attack, which is very unlikely, then a Thoughtseize could be good. And I think here the Thassa's Oracle is pretty useless, because we can only fetch down to 3. So getting it with Show and Tell doesn't do much. So I think this is slightly misstacked. Okay. Here we can Thoughtseize now, because if the opponent can... The problem is... no, I think it's correct to Thoughtseize in this turn, because if we Thoughtseize and if we see the coast is clear after Thoughtseize, we can fetch and Oracle this turn. The problem is if they... If they use a brainstorm to put away a consign to memory or something, then we can just win this turn. And here the opponent has Magos and Omniscience and Show and Tell, and I think a bit about it. I think, okay, what happens next turn? And then I realize I played this really slow and methodically, because against the strong players I really don't want to make a misplay and lose, so just take the Pyroblast and win this turn. And let's see if we can repeat this for game number 3. Okay, for game 3 I corrected my sideboarding mistake and brought in the blue elemental blast instead of hydroblast because it was cheaper online, and also you cannot misclick and like mistarget some land by accident. And yeah, I brought out one Lotus Petal. I'm not sure what's best. Maybe I should have boarded out a land or something, but I also don't like losing 2 mana screw. So okay, but we have the turn 1 Doomsday again, 3 games in a row, and we have Tamio and Frog, so we don't have Force, we don't have Days, but still it's a really good hand. So let's see what our opponent does. Thundering Falls, okay. Not much happening there, keeping the hand on top, the card on top. So we can do now Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual, Doomsday, right? And we can follow up with Tamio. And problem is sometimes against very controlling decks, the very quick Doomsday actually isn't that good, because, for example, if they have multiple consigned to memory, then it's possible that we don't have enough resources to win, but this is against a combo deck, so I think it's correct here to just go for it as quickly as possible. Okay, Dark Ritual, and we cast the Doomsday. And if it fails, then we have a bit of a problem. But it works, and there again we have a Thassa's Oracle in hand, which is really good. They don't play discard, and we don't have Lion's Eye Diamond, so we probably don't need a Thassa's Oracle, a second one, but it's still nice to have in case they consign to memory the first one. They can maybe play Magus of the Moon. They saw it last turn, so it would be nice to have a basic island in the pile, but then we cannot use the Lotus Petal for Tamio, and I think I make this mistake here in this game, in that I think about 2 different lines and then I mix them up in my head. So either we go with the basic island and then we have to keep the Lotus Petal, or we do it the other way around and we don't get the basic island and then we can play out the Tamio. So I think I mixed this up here a bit, because I have the basic island in case of the Blood Moon, but this doesn't help if I play out Tamio. So I think this is okay. We have the Force, we have Double Cycle, Cavern and Island, but I mean, playing out the Tamio is also good because we don't need so much mana. We already have 2 lands in the pile. And we can use, if we attack, we can use the Dark Ritual to get more mana and crack clues and so on. We can also play the Frog, but we also have, we need to have a pitch card. So yeah, I do it like this. Maybe I should have brought in a Force of Will instead, or a Daze. It's also possible. Put a Daze in the pile and then we can Daze in the Petal, and then we can Daze our own Petal or something, or Daze. I don't know. There are multiple possibilities to play around Blood Moon or Magus of the Moon, but here I think this was not good, because now I don't really do much with the basic island in case there's a Blood Moon. And opponent plays the Show and Tell. We can put in the Psychic Frog, because putting in Oracle, I mean, we have a additional, that's also something we have to think about. If we put in the Psychic Frog, we have 2 devotion and then 4 devotion with the Oracle. So I guess it's correct to put the Frog in here. And opponent has Grizzlebrand. And now it's really important that we can access the Cavern of Souls. But the problem is, I think we put it further down, did we? Opponent has to discard a bunch of cards because we need to play around. So we have Street Rave. So I pass the turn here. opponent attacks, and we can block with Tamio. I think the Tamio doesn't help us, because if we don't block, then we cannot cycle. So yes, problem is opponent gets a bunch of life. And there's another show and tell. And here I make another mistake. I should cycle Street Wave now, so that I'm at exactly 3 devotion. But I make the mistake of putting the Oracle on the stack first, and in response to the trigger I stifle, I Street Wave. And the problem is that the opponent can now do something. I think it's, yeah, okay, opponent has the consign to memory and can now also not only consign the Thassa's Oracle, but also the Street Wave trigger. I think it doesn't matter much, but I think it would have been better to cycle first, just so that we cannot get blown out by this. But yeah, we're dead anyways, so we get everything consigned. Opponent draws 7 cards in response and puts in an Emrakul, and that's it for the match. And yeah, we are just super dead here. But I think, yeah, even if he could have accessed, I think it was just too many cards after the Grizzlebrand. So it's very hard to beat Consign if they also have Force, even if he could have built the pile differently to get to the counter thing, or if he didn't play the show and tell. But I think it's an interesting matchup, because we can sometimes win with Thassa's Oracle just by using the opponent's show and tell after Doomsday. Yeah, let me know what you think, and see you later.